So good morning. Oh, hi. So good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. And so yes, I bring news from Rinpoche and Khenpo Jigme, our traveling yogi from India. So I was in India with Rinpoche and with Khenpo Jigme. And Rinpoche is very, 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 very happy that we're regularly meeting here. So he said to tell you all that. And he's in very good health. He's doing quite excellent. And I asked him if he would please come to Colorado this summer, and he said Chikchena, which means perhaps. So he'll be in Canada in June, so you can go see Rinpoche in Canada in June. And I know they don't necessarily want him to come down in the heat of the summer when the mosquitoes are really bad in Crestone, so I'm not sure. But we do know that Tuku Damcho will be coming in August, after August 10th. We don't have an exact landing date, but sometime after August 10th, Khenpo will be returning end of April. And then he has to go teach the Trangu Sangha in Maine. And he will be giving teachings May 27th here. He's going to do the 4 immeasurables, so he'll be back. And then next month, April 29th, Clark Johnson is going to do Chenrezig, and that was by request of Khenpo, that he wanted us to do Chenrezig together. So that is up. All that, I need to get the May date put in on the Facebook page, but we'll do that. So Rinpoche was very pleased, and he was very happy that we were all practicing together, and he gave me some very specific instructions. So I will try and do those. And today we're doing the Medicine Buddha, and today is a Medicine Buddha Day by the Tibetan calendar, so that's very auspicious to be doing group practice of Medicine Buddha on a Medicine Buddha Day. So that is very good. So we do this particular sadhana in our tradition, which is coming from the Turtan Mingyur Dorje. And this is a condensed sadhana composed by Karma Chakme Rinpoche that we're doing. So if you've been in my Medicine Buddha teachings before, you know that I've said that it's not, when you're first doing Medicine Buddha, it's more important to establish your connection with Sangye Menla. It's more important to work on establishing your feeling and your direct experience of actually merging with the deity and becoming the deity. So there's 2 different ways that you can look at this. You can visualize an outer Menla, an outer Medicine Buddha, and this is very much representative of the perfect complete Buddha, Shakyamuni, who has attained a stainless sense of self. Or you can also do an inner visualization where you become Sangye Menla, and that's where the real focus is, that's where the real juice is. And you get in touch with your inherent basic nature, with your Buddha nature. So this is representing your own intrinsic wisdom that we all have, that's obscured by our obscurations and our root poisons. So I also usually tell the story that when I initially started doing more regular Medicine Buddha practice as a Tibetan physician, I felt really inadequate to completely transform myself into the Medicine Buddha and then sort of do these things to patients. And one of my teachers in the Kagyu lineage also is a 5th incarnation of the same doctor. And you might have heard this story before as well, but I said to him, you know, Rinpoche, I feel very inadequate in transforming myself into the Medicine Buddha. I'm an ordinary being, I have lots of faults, I have, you know, all my own root poisons and aggressions and ignorance and so forth. And so I really just don't think I can do it. And he said, well, then you don't be a doctor then. He was very matter-of-fact about it. And he said, no, you have to. This is choiceless. This isn't about you. This isn't about your particular skandhas. This is about emptying those out and getting in touch with who you really are and your intrinsic basic Buddha nature. So I just always like to remind people that no matter what brings them to the Medicine Buddha practice, either it's because you're in the healing profession and you want to be able to amplify your benefits to other beings, or you just want to pray for world peace and for other beings, that's also an extremely wonderful thing to do, or you're coming for your own personal healing. It really doesn't matter. The point is that when you're doing this practice and you're transforming yourself into the Medicine Buddha, that what you're doing is you're actually tapping into what's known as the Vajra body. So the Vajra body is glass-like, pure, clear, clean, and it doesn't have all of our normal, ordinary substances. Like we don't have our heart or our blood or our brain. Or it's just we're empty. We're empty and full of light. And so if you keep that as like a good starting point for your beginning to work with this practice, that really helps. And this particular sadhana, which I have, and if you don't have the sadhana, it is there available for you. It's just $4 for the copy cost. But this particular sadhana works really, really well at helping one develop their own compassion and to help your own self-clinging and grasping to decline. And when we recite this particular mantra, we are basically developing our own inner strength. And it's really important to, when we do this practice, to have proper motivation. So we're taking refuge. Refuge is always our starting point. You know, everyone is suffering in the world. Everyone is having, you know, sickness and illness and wars and famines. And really, we just need to turn on the TV for like 5 minutes to see that. So this particular practice is very good for also world peace and for like inner peace and developing that. So the question always comes to me, can I do this practice in English or do I have to do it in Tibetan? So it's a very good question. And I'll tell you what Trungpa Rinpoche says. So Trungpa Rinpoche says that because we haven't had enough enlightened Western practitioners yet, that the words and the power of the words, sort of the blessing and the lineage of the words from the Tibetan has just a little bit more power. So that being said, what I often suggest you do, if you have some time, is that you actually read through the practice in Tibetan, even if you don't really know what it's saying, and then go back into that section or go back in through the whole practice and then do it in English. And as you're doing it in English, contemplate what you're reading. So when I was in Bodh Gaya, I've been to Bodh Gaya many times, but I haven't ever had an opportunity to sit down with sadhanas and do long practices. And that was one of my goals this time that I was in India. And so I had my nun, Dr. Friend, on the left doing her, practices, and Khenpo Jigme was behind me, and I was doing mine. And I was thinking, oh, visualization works really well here. So there's something to be said about being in a powerful place as well. But there's plenty of power in this practice in your own home. Okay, you don't have to even have like a fancy shrine or anything. But it's helpful if you have an image of the Buddha. So I do have images of the Medicine Buddha if you want. You're welcome to get one, and it does have the mantra on the back side. So these are free, and you're welcome to have them. Just keep them properly. So if you have an image of the Buddha and even an image of the words, even a text, that's considered even more sacred than even an image. So we don't really leave them on the floor. We don't step over them. You might have noticed this in different various Buddhist centers, so I just like to remind people of that. Keep it in a good place. And then if you don't want it anymore, just burn it, is the best.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
The Tanadu, is that how you say this?
Tanadu?
Is it possible to get that anywhere?
Yeah, there's lots of images online, for sure.
And is the vegetation just decorative, or is it actually referring to the botanical,
Actual medicine,
Okay.
yes.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm going to get into that a little
right.
bit today. So, yes. So what I'm going to instruct you on today is going to be mostly through English because we're all English speakers. And so I think it's really important for us to focus on the actual connection. Is there anyone here who has not received the lung or the transmission for the Medicine Buddha? Okay, then I have to give it.
Okay. Put my text in.
Which I'm really slow. I'm not lightning speed fast like the Kempos.
Maybe they do.
So let me
Yeah.
do that.
Your text?
Oh no, it's fine. He's fine.
Oh, on the floor? It's all right?
He's not on the floor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So okay. So I will give the transmission. So imagine that I am not me. You can either imagine me as the medicine Buddha, or you can imagine your teacher, whoever you have the most heart connection to, that your teacher is here and that your teacher is giving it. So this, I received medicine Buddha from many people: Karmapa, Trungpa Rinpoche, Lama Pema, Namkhai Norbu Rinpoche, Paltu Rinpoche. So any of those masters are basically coming through me to you. So I'm not an ordinary person. Or you can imagine Khenpo Lobsang or Khenpo Jigme, whoever you have the most connection to, as giving you this. Okay?